I can't help and notice a lot of people are actually miserable in consulting. Consulting is like that one friend who keeps telling you the harsh truth, except that friend is anyone on your team. Then he just stormed out of the meeting. This creates a competitive environment where people are always thinking about their next steps. You have to be very, very flexible with your weekday freedom as well. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Elaine. I am a management consultant living in New York after grad school. I've been in consulting for 4 years, and in my last video, I talked about the highs and lows of consulting. A lot of it sounded amazing, like the high salary, the big name clients, and the travel perks. But I can't help and notice a lot of people are actually miserable in consulting. So today, let's talk about the top 5 reasons why people are not happy and how to avoid it. If you're thinking about consulting or are considering consulting as a potential career, I hope this video is helpful for you. Reason number 1, you will not enjoy consulting if you don't like working with people. Consulting is all about working with people. Every single day, you are in meetings and navigating different personalities and managing relationships. If you love collaboration, this can be energizing, but if you prefer deep, independent work, this can feel draining fast. Every 2 to 3 months, you get staffed on a new project with new team members. Some teams are fantastic, but others not so much, but you're expected to make it work. As a manager, I usually start my day with a morning team huddle, and that can be anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour and a half. This meeting is a handoff call with the India team who worked overnight. After that, I'll work independently for a few hours, but we'll check in with junior staff throughout. I usually have an afternoon check-in with my boss to give a quick progress update, and I'll keep rolling until the evening, then check in with my India team again to set up for the next day. Sometimes there's a client call sprinkled in there depending on the phase of the project. So you can tell there's a lot of brainstorming and meetings happen throughout the day. So if working with clients, partners, and team members sounds exhausting, then consulting might not be the best fit for you. Reason number 2, if you find direct and continuous feedback overwhelming. Consulting is like that one friend who keeps telling you the harsh truth, except that friend can be anyone on your team or the client, and they're giving you feedback real time. When I first joined consulting out of business school, I really didn't have any experience in the industry. I started working with this one partner that I'd never worked with, and I didn't really know his style. In a daily call, I started giving an update on the progress, and he bluntly stopped me and said, "Hey, this is not a good use of my time. I need this, this, and that." And then he just stormed out of the meeting. In that moment, I was really shocked because no one had spoken to me like this in the corporate environment. So I could take this very personally and feel bad, give myself a hard time, or I can go back and decide to not take it personally and just roll with it. Some people thrive in this environment because it forces them to get better fast. But if feedback hits you a little differently and you just need some time to process before making changes, this can feel brutal. Reason number 3, you don't like the up or out culture and the competitive environment. Consulting has a built-in career ladder and it moves pretty fast. Every 2 to 3 years, there is a promotion cycle. Some move to new roles and others leave the firm, sometimes by choice and sometimes not. This creates a competitive environment where people are always thinking about their next steps. This competitiveness gets even more intense when you have a slow economy impacting consulting. Imagine there aren't a lot of projects coming in, but same number of people waiting to get staffed. There are times in the past year that I was on a bench for almost a month with no work to do. You think that's a good thing. You still get paid while not doing work, right? But your utilization is actually one of the most important metrics for your year-end performance. So not getting staffed on projects means you don't get the credit at year-end. This means you have to work extra hard to impress people internally. For some, this can be very motivating because you're always pushing yourself forward. But for others, if you're looking for something more stable and cruising for long-term career path without the constant push, this can lead to burnout very easily. Reason number 4, you're not okay with last-minute work or travel schedule changes. Consulting is not a typical 9 to 5, especially with work travel. There will be weeks where last minute requests, late night emails, and change of travel plans will come up that throws off all of your weekday plans. I personally don't travel a lot because I work with private equity clients. They are their own beast. We'll talk about it in another video if you're interested. But I've definitely heard colleagues who have to get ready, travel on Sundays, so they are ready to go Monday morning on client site. You have to be very, very flexible with your weekday freedom. I've definitely had to cancel my dinner plans on weekdays to put out last minute fires. If you value a predictable work schedule where work stays within 9 to 5, then consulting is not the best fit. What if you are already in consulting and you can't just leave your job, or you're still interested in consulting because the positive opportunities that come with it? Is it all doom and gloom? Well, there are some critical things that you can actually do to make your life a lot easier. The first thing you have to ask yourself is, what are my strengths? And be brutally honest about your weaknesses. People who do well in consulting aren't the smartest, but they really know their strengths and work around their weaknesses. So for example, if you're not very good at making slides, try to get better at telling a story more concisely, or jot down the preferences of your manager and director on font size, alignment, just the overall preference of a slide to save yourself time. If feedback feels tough, try to separate critique from personal value. There's a lot of resources out there that can help you get better at this. Myself included, I actually use ChatGPT a lot to have a lot of different feedback in different tones and practicing responding it real time. So knowing what you're good at and accepting your weaknesses, it's just a generally good skill set to have in life. Set boundaries early. This is a big one. Consulting will take as much time as you give it. This doesn't mean you're saying no to everything, but it does mean be mindful of how much extra you're taking on. The benefit of this is over time, people will learn your working style and you will only attract those who respect and appreciate your working style to continue to work with you. Find good people and stick with them. I know earlier I said it is hard to work with the same people over and over again. However, I do think it is possible to work with the same people for the majority of your projects once you build a good rapport. Your experience in consulting can vary greatly depending on the people you work with. So this is a number one investment that you can make early on that'll make your overall experience a lot easier. A great manager can make a tough project bearable, and the right mentors can completely change your career trajectory. Find people in your work environment whom you look up to. Pitch yourself and get yourself in his or her circle. Treat consulting like a sprint, not a marathon. For most people, they treat it like a stepping stone, a place to learn, build some great skill sets, and then they move on to something else. If you go in with that mindset, it's a lot easier to handle the intensity. This is not your forever job. Focus on what you try to gain from the experience, and when the time is right, make your next move. I didn't say all of this to discourage you from joining consulting. I simply think that if this is a career that you're interested in, you might as well have all the information, the good and the bad, so that you can make the right decision for you. One thing I didn't talk about is the promotion cycle, and I know a lot of junior staff that I personally work with think a lot about the promotion, how to stand out. If this is something you're interested in, leave a comment below. As someone who's familiar with the calibration discussions, I'd be more than happy to talk more about it. If you found this video helpful, hit like, subscribe, and that notification bell for more career insights. Whether you are exploring consulting or navigating tricky corporate situations, I've got plenty more to share. Until then, take care.